Happy New Year. Thank you all very much for coming to the Town of Cedar Lake 2024 Stormwater Board meeting in January 4th. Call this meeting to start. Please join me in the pledges of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Recording secretary, can you please have a roll call?
Ryan Leeser.
Here.
Patrick Conlon.
Here.
Benji Kinchlow.
Here.
Don Alpha.
Here.
David Austin. Who stepped out for a
He's here.
Eric Bosma.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. And Wendy McKay. Here.
All right, before we get started, Wendy, I'm going to throw it back to you for the election of officers.
Do we need to, a motion to elect a chairman?
I think we have to amend the agenda formally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's amend the agenda.
We're going to amend the agenda
I think
formally.
that actually requires a vote.
Yeah.
I think that requires a vote. So somebody has to make a motion and actually second the vote on it.
I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to elect the officers.
I second the motion.
Benji Kinchlow.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ryan Leeser.
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to elect the vice chair, or the chairman first?
Yes.
I'll make a motion for Ryan Lisek as chairman.
I'll second that motion.
Benji Kinchlow.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ryan Leeser.
Yes.
Okay. And vice chairman?
I make a motion to make Patrick Conlon vice chairman.
I'll second that.
Okay. Benji Kinchlow.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ryan Leeser.
Yes. Do we need to discuss retention of services for the engineering?
That I don't know.
I have that on the list, yes.
Okay.
All right, I would like to make a motion to retain the services of Christopher B. Burke Engineering, and just to add furthermore, I think Don Oliphant does a wonderful job and is an asset to the town of Cedar Lake. I would like to make a motion to retain those services.
I'll second the motion.
Benji Kinchlow.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ryan Leeser.
Yes.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, moving forward to our regularly programmed agenda here. We have our minutes from December 7th. On the board here, does everyone have a chance, or did you have a chance to review the minutes? And is there any questions or comments, concerns? Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from December 7th of last year.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Benji Kinchlow.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ryan Leeser.
Yes. Going on to the consent agenda, for item number 2, claims for Fund 650, $10,432.71, and the fund for Fund number 654, $24,211.13. To be honest with you all, as someone that serves on the board for the stormwater department, or for the stormwater board for the town of Cedar Lake, we deal with taxpayer money. And as a taxpayer myself, I find more pride in spending other people's money than I do my own. And with that being said, it's coming to the point where I would like to have detailed invoices that are associated with all these funds that are expended from the account, and being able to review them prior to the meeting of at least 24 hours. Is that okay, is that something that we can do for future?
Once we all get into the swing of things, we can definitely have the docket reports to you, definitely, preferably like we do with, say, town council, we'll have it to you the Friday before.
Like
As for
last Friday of the month?
As for individual invoices, I mean, you're asking us to do a lot more work. You're more than welcome to come down here at any time to look at the supporting documentation. But I
But-
mean, that's a lot more to do, and all the spending, your public works department can speak more to what they're doing. Other than that, it's pretty ministerial in, you know, benefits that are paid out for employees, your engineering bills, your attorney bills, and then like with this most recent one out of the capital fund, that was for the last that related to the Shades Road project and the stormwater infrastructure that, you know, was part of that project.
Okay. Is there just an easier way to just have some kind of background accounting that would be simplified on your end, and you don't have to move mountains to put together? Is
Well,
there anything that you?
I mean, the docket reports are, I mean, it gives you which
I know.
PL number it came out of, the vendor it was paid to, the description of what it was, as well as the amount.
If there's, I mean, I assume you get invoices from Austin, Kuiper, and the town attorney, like how they come up with those numbers, right? Or you just divide it by 5 departments and
Mr.
total?
Austin, perhaps the monthly stormwater bill, we could also include, like how we split it out when RDC gets theirs, if we could split out. The stormwater one is,
Stormwater, in our itemization, it's CL/storm, it comes down here as a separate
Yeah.
sub billing to the master.
When I served on the redevelopment commission, we always got your detail,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know if that's possible.
that's what we're talking about,
Yeah.
that's the invoice you get that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or that's the invoice at least, then.
But thank you for providing more clarity on the Shade Roads project, though, where that was going to. But I would like to make a motion to approve these claims, and then, based upon that, for the next meeting, we'll have some backup invoices and backup detailed information.
I will work on it for the board.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Reggie Kinchel,
Yes.
Patrick Conlon,
Yes.
Ryan Lisek.
Yes. Okay, no items in old business, but we got some update items to talk about. Item number A, Eric Hines, 7513 West 136th Avenue.
Not a lot of these have any new updates to them. They're kind of just sitting in the hopper for funding and approvals if you choose to go that route. This is Chuck Becker's former house. If I can't find it. So yeah, there's nothing new to report on. It's just kind of on there as a reminder when and if more funding becomes available to add it to approved lists for getting done. Yeah, that's all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you very much. Keep that on update items. Moving on over to Schubert and Dodge Street.
Very similar report. We've talked about that at length for the last couple of months. Yeah, that would be a large project. So, if and when we have funds to do something like that or lump it in with more of a roadway project, it's likely where that one's gonna sit. But that one's not gonna be cheap. It would likely exceed funds from this board.
Yeah, we discussed that be part of the master plan for a larger project in inclusion to the master plan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of phase 2 of the sidewalk kind of corridor on Lakeshore Drive, but It's probably out of that type of scope, 'cause that's through NERC. So it likely wouldn't be lumped with that, but it would have to be done with a future neighborhood project, which is in our subdivision master plan, but not high on the list.
Okay. Keep that on there as update items. So Woods of Cedar Creek.
Similar, that's kind of, a call and shovel ready type project. I believe Mr. Austin has forwarded all the updated easements to staff. I'm not aware that they've been signed, but that was number 3, I believe, on our approved list last year, so it wasn't actually earmarked for funding. So, yeah, it's just kind of waiting for the next round.
Okay.
So are we sure that all the easements are done? We're not gonna have everybody from Woods of Cedar Creek coming in here saying,
That I don't know. I think we have them all done and updated, but I'm not sure on any status of being signed. Staff kind of handles that, so.
Mr. Chairman, I can clarify that. Previous town manager was handling the securing of signatures for notary attestation. His office had documents since November 1st, November 1st, and I was informed and advised that his staff would take care of signatures. So, notwithstanding any of the communications that were being exchanged, that work's been done. And it's now updated to reflect signature changes and so we're more current, and I will make certain Jeff will get, when he's back, and when he's in the office on Monday, he'll get a package from me of the most current. But all that work's been done, and I want to make certain it's on this record because I read with great interest concerns about delivery of documents. And those documents were delivered. The other thing of clarity I would ask you about is Don's comments tonight about, and this is consistent over the past several months, that there's no money. Well, sometimes when you say there's no money, that means there's no urgency nor immediacy of delivery. And that's how I took, for a period of time, the delivery of these documents. For example, the Becker parcel, that's been there for 30 years, and the condition it's in, maybe longer. So, as you can imagine with the business of the town, there is a lot of activity in a lot of places, and probably that easement instrument did not rise to the top often. It's done, it's ready, and when it's called for, whether there's money or not, I can't do anything about the money part.
So if I could, David, just so you're aware, we did prioritize the projects for last year,
Okay.
and I'm not sure that you were in attendance at that time.
I did not receive that. If I
Okay,
had
so,
that-
we kind of caught you blind, I guess, so, and we kind of knew based on that prioritization, which would fall into this year, 2024. And, I believe we talked about the Woods of Cedar Creek, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, but that we would, since that didn't have enough funding for 2023, and the easements were not cared for, we would still proceed with gathering the easements in preparation of trying to get that job done.
That would be absolutely my advice to you, and
Yeah,
recommendation. Let's get the signatures, get the parcel ready to go, and when the money or funding or
Yep.
assets were found, you're ready to roll.
Is that fair to say, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, absolutely, thank you.
Okay.
So
So in terms of those easements, if I may, just, do they have to be hand-delivered to the residents for
Every one.
signature, or should they
Every
come?
one of them. Every one of them. For example, Woods of Cedar Creek, up and down Rockland Street.
Okay,
And we have them, so somebody could do that, perhaps on a Saturday or whenever people might be home, and take care of that.
okay,
Historically, we've had them come into the town, I believe, and
okay.
sign it here. So, I
That's
think it
probably
should,
for the notary,
yeah.
One way or another?
yes.
Okay.
And Becker was unique. It wasn't high on the priority list, but at the time he was selling the parcel and he was the primary kind of remonstrator that brought it to this board. We wanted that signed prior to him leaving, but that didn't happen. So
Right.
now Mr. Hines owns the property now, and I believe the easement is in his name.
It actually isn't. It's in his name and a companion's name.
Yeah, I think, yeah, his wife.
I don't know that, but
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the update, Mr. Austin. Appreciate that. Moving on to the final update item, we have Marlene Lee's 6902 West 128th Place.
Hi, I'm Marlene Lee, 6902 West 128th Place, and I just want to say that all the projects are done, completed, inspected. Thank you, Don, for guiding me in the right direction.
No problem.
And to all of you who spent time here helping everybody. Thank you. Have a nice New Year.
You're welcome. Thank you. You too.
Wow, that's some great news. Start off the new year. Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to Public Works projects. And these first two items, these are the prioritized projects that we wanted to have the easements related to before the Woods of Cedar Creek. Starting off with that, any update from the Gibbons property at 6425 West 145th Street?
I mean, I can take them both. So I guess Julianne does not drive at night, that's why she's not here tonight. But she's still concerned about it and wants it done. I just got a little blurb from Cliff actually saying that. So, I mean, I can take both. They're ready to go, but they didn't proceed because they didn't have easement signed. And by the time, I'm pretty sure they're still not signed, but we were outside of construction season anyways by the time we got them, so.
But the easements did come in.
I believe they're with the town now again, but I don't think they're signed, at least I
Okay.
haven't seen them.
they are here. They've been here since November 2nd.
Yes, I mean, that would be the same exact report for the last as well. I think both are going to be public works projects strictly, right?
Yeah.
Julian Gibbs might be, if you guys paid a little bit more, you might sum it up, but,
Yeah, that would be up to Kubiak to make the decision on
yeah,
that.
but you're gonna do all the pipe work and whatnot,
Yeah.
so,
Oh,
yeah. So, I mean, once we get that, we'll start doing, I mean, we already have quantities together, it's just they weren't gonna order materials until they had it,
yeah.
so, it's kind of a waiting game.
Okay, so the follow-up with the easements and getting the signatures needed for those in order to get the, supplies ordered in hand, start date.
It's gotta be weather dependent, based on spring rains. It's not the most advantageous time to just start doing stormwater projects when we get a lot of rain, so.
Yeah.
I mean, the last project, the pipes, slam dunk with that one, I think they already have the road saw cut. But that's pervious grading as well, so if it's wet, it's not gonna move. So that's gotta take place in the dry. Julian Gibbons, same, there's a lot of water that comes with that system, so it's gotta be dry too, so it's just gonna be dependent on when they can get weather. The last property, that's an easy one, I think, just the smaller one at least. Gibbons is much larger in scope, so they'll need some time on that one. So we'll just need to get a window, see what we get.
Okay, it would be excellent to give some kind of, security to both those property owners to say, hey, here's the easements, they're signed, get them going, and as soon as we get better weather.
Yeah, get the easement signed before we even have a chance to crack the weather open, so we're ready to go and order materials and sit in the yard and moving forward. So sooner we get them signed, the better.
So do they have to come here to get those signed?
Yes, well, no, but it's easier to get everything notarized since we have notaries here, so typically that's the way it's done.
Can we put that on to?
These are for permanent grants, so they need to be recorded, and that's the reason for the notary.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Who
fine.
can we put on it to reach out to them?
I guess we'd have to throw that back out to the town as far as, do you want me to call them and tell them they need to come to town hall?
Town manager staff can handle that,
Okay.
I would think.
Okay.
I just don't want to fall off the,
Absolutely.
February comes around and all of a sudden we're still waiting for signatures.
Safe to assume we have contact information for everybody we have needs for, or?
I
Well,
believe so.
We had street addresses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can look it up.
Yeah, I think we had numbers too.
Yeah, they gave it to you,
The list of phone numbers?
yeah. There's only, what, four easements? 5 easements? For both those projects together?
There's only one on Gibbons, it's not the Gibbons, it's the Malacarts to the south, and
I thought they
then,
had one across the street too.
no, that would be in the right of way, I think.
Yeah, that's
Really?
our, that's
Okay.
our
And then
right.
last 5 to 2, him
So
and
four.
him and his west neighbor, so no, it should just be 3.
Only 3?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the Burring property at 14335 Truman Street.
I'm sorry, Ryan, can I take you back to the last item for a sec?
Yes, sir.
So, for clarity's sake, on the lots parcel, the permanent easement is for 2 parcels.
Yeah,
Contained within one each.
yeah,
Okay, I want to make,
yeah, that one's 2, Gibbons is 1.
okay, all right, thank you, I'm sorry. Make sure of that.
Thank you. Going back to the Burring property, 14335 Truman Street.
I don't have any updates on that.
Mm-mm.
Did you guys clear anything out, or?
It's still on the street department's list,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Maybe we could just add that up to the update items, just so we can touch base if you
Yeah.
hear anything moving
Yeah, I
forward
haven't
with
heard
that.
anything from him.
Just for an update, that was something that was brought to this board, and it was, determined that it was part of another
Yeah.
department and board, so just making sure that's moving forward. Okay. Moving on to new business. Okay. All right.
I mean, I guess an update on the Shades project, so phase 1A is, we'll call it 98% done. We'll do final surface on 141st next year, but all the storm sewer infrastructure is in. They just finished a retaining wall yesterday, so it's pretty much done. We'll finish the mill out 141st next year, and we'll start on 1B come the spring. In case anybody wanted an update on it.
Thank you, Don. All right, moving up to public comment. And if you can please approach the podium, state your name and address.
All right. Justin, we'll get to you next.
Want to go first? Okay.
Angie Michaelajchuk, 12806 Lee Court. I'm here tonight because I have an issue with, I have some photos for you, with my yard as far as drainage, and I'm not exactly sure what to do, but maybe you guys can help, I don't know. Who shall I give? I have 2 sets of photos.
Bring some over here.
I'll share with them.
All
Yeah.
right, good. We closed on our house in April of 2021. At the time that we purchased the property, it was during the winter, so there were some inspections that couldn't be done when, we bought the house. And when the water had, when the ground had defrosted, we had noticed several issues with our yard. Well, one thing we noticed is that we had a crack in the foundation of our house. And I have all this information with some other commissions going on, but our yard, on one side of our house, it's 9 feet between the building and my property line on one side of my house. And on that same side, there's about 18 feet between my neighbor's yard. About 5 feet from my home, there's water that goes through both of right in the center. There's photos that indicate that floods, and I guess that's a drainage easement. And when I walk out my back door, I have an old survey here, I think I gave it to him there, but there's a 15-foot drainage easement 10 feet from my home in my backyard. And on the other side, there's a 15-foot drainage easement as well, probably about 10 feet from my house. So I'm on a little bit more than a quarter of an acre, but the majority of it is covered in the drainage easement as far as the yard's concerned. The back of our yard, there's a vacant property there that is up like on a hill. So we get that water going into our yard in the backyard, and my neighbor's yard is also on a hill, so I get the water from his yard going in our yard as well. Lee Cove, if you're not familiar, it's 7 houses. Out of those 7 houses, I'm the first one being built. 5 of the houses have the wetlands, so they don't have the same drainage issues that I have, but it's me and my neighbor, but my neighbor's on elevated soil. So I'm kind of getting water drainage on their property from both sides. So last year, in 2021, I spent kind of cleaning a lot of vegetation out from around the property. Last year, I did some landscaping to try to help, and that's when you came to my house, yes. I wanted to get permission because I did some designing around drainage. But I did ask for a professional landscaper to come out to tell me what he had thought because of the ways there's elevations and there's dips and there's all kinds of things in my yard. He never came back, so apparently it was a lot of work. I would have to say between the back of the house to the front of the house, there's at least 10 feet, if not more. Now, the problem arose because I've been just dealing with it. It's the first time we owned a house, so I was concerned more about cleaning up the yard, making it look decent from the front. So then, the back property is a vacant property that apparently the builder that built my home, he's proposing to build 2 homes behind it. So in doing that, I'm kind of arguing that point with the Plan Commission and also the BZA because he's asking for a variance. But in researching that, I had found that the previous documents of the site plan, there's a whole bunch of them. Let me see exactly what you call them. He had to have topography done. I have that, site plan, preliminary, secondary, engineering plan, all this. And for that, what I could see from the old documents, and unfortunately they're from 2007, is that there's some drainage easement and swales showing to be done, but I don't believe that that was done on my property. So therefore, what had happened with my house is they had started to build a subdivision based off of my home. When we purchased the home, we were told that it was built in 2010. But after all this stuff came up, I'm come to find it was actually started in 2007. It wasn't, yes, it was started in 2007. They made the rest of the houses and then came back and finished ours. So from what I'm gathering, it was vacant for like 5 years. Didn't know that when I bought the house. Apparently, the builder had some issues regarding a foreclosure. It was taken by the bank. I saw different documents saying that they had renewed the permit. On the permit, it shows that there's 38 feet in my backyard. It's less than 26 feet. It's just a lot of crazy stuff that's not adding up. But, so, talking to the other commissions about it, but in the meantime, I'm getting a lot of water in my yard, and I'm not exactly sure what to do. I tried to circumvent it by doing a little rain garden, which my water well is in the drainage easement, and the water that builds up is around my well, which is where I made this hole to try to get the water on my yard. So I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do, and I'm here.
We talked yesterday.
Yes.
Deja vu, oh yeah. We will be out there, probably not tomorrow, but next week.
Okay.
And I will take a look at it.
I appreciate that.
Like you said, the original plan's, 15 years old now almost. So I just need to get eyes on it and have a better assessment of what's going on and if we can help or not, but.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would say for the Plan Commission too, if that moves forward and does get approved, they will have to do something back there. basically
Yeah.
try to create a swale that probably should have been there in the first place, so.
That's what I was hoping for, but on the interim, because I don't know if he's gonna do that or not, I thought, you know what, I might as well get you guys acclimated to my situation, because, you know, it's been like that, well, since almost 3 years now for me.
Yeah, so he would be required to do that. So unfortunately, when your house was built and the subdivision was built, we had different rear yard drainage standards than we do now.
Yes.
So this is kind of typical from that time period, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I had Eric come, and he looked at the drain, and we couldn't figure out if it was working or not, because there is a yard drain in the front yard, but I don't see water going in there.
Yeah, I mean, it all tries to
I don't know.
Yeah.
roundaboutly go north and then south into the
I
wetland.
mean, with
Yeah.
the way that is, I mean, she's got a curve and then a curve stops and then it goes
This
to
way,
like,
this way, this way.
back just, it like literally will go back into the woods. So it's
So-
like coming around.
I mean,
Thank
this is where it
you.
gets difficult about designating who's responsible
Yeah.
for what. Typically, if it's in an easement, a dedicated easement like there is around your property, that's something I think we would, in this board, you know, consider. If it's close to your house and it's just flat, that's most likely on the homeowner most of the time.
Yes.
But we can obviously get a conveyance system, you just might have to do some work to get it to it.
Yeah, and,
So-
and let me be clear, I mean, I've been dealing, my husband and I have been attempting to make our best effort to try to circumvent the issues that we have with the water. It wasn't until, you know, all this came up that I thought, well, you know, I gotta bring this stuff to your guys' attention.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were just about ready to do a ditch in our own yard, and literally, I mean, he's a truck driver, he's on the road. Unfortunately, I'm not really physically capable of doing it, so I'm like, and then this came up where he was gonna buy, and I'm like, well, what, if it's the same builder, he has an acre of land, I have this little piece, he should put a ditch behind, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I don't know how things may sync out, if that moves forward, it doesn't move forward. They may sync out where he has to do that, I don't know, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we know he was deferred, so I don't know if it'll move forward or not, so it's gonna be a dance, kind of.
Well, I know that you're really busy, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's okay if you can't come next week or come in, as long as, you know, we do something, because,
Yeah.
we have to get it done
I know,
somehow.
we try to make it out as soon as we can. So.
Cause isn't there wetland across the street from her?
Yes, it's
'Cause I
wetland
remember
all
going-
around me.
I remember going
Yeah.
back there and checking, there's storm drains back there, cause I remember going back there and looking at them.
Like on the east,
Yeah.
like heading towards the big swamp?
Hey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, there's an old culvert that I saw on the plans that's up in this vicinity. that
Yeah, I
was
think that's
maintained.
where, and then it goes, and then it
That's one of the things I
heads
wanted to
into the
look at.
wetlands.
I think it predates the subdivision,
Yeah.
and they just drained everything to it. I don't think there's any detention out there.
No, 'cause we walked out, we were walking around there for hours, we found a couple, but I don't even know if they even still work, I don't even know if they even hooked up.
I actually looking at the original plan, I don't know if I saw any, but I wasn't looking at the vicinity, I was kinda looking around the house, but, yeah, I just need to look at it.
And she is, as her house, because it goes uphill into the cul-de-sac, and her house is pretty much the lowest house on the block.
That doesn't help, so.
Yeah, on the block and from the other way, and from coming down Lee Street. It's like.
That was a weird
so-
subdivision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, okay, so that's that, thank you. But, the one thing that I recently noticed, is that, well, we have the OSB filtration system, so we have something called iron curtain where it takes out the rust in the well, and then we also have, the reverse osmosis, which goes through my kitchen and my refrigerator, and, I'm getting slime coming out of my water, and I don't know, I just got a bottle from some, I don't know the name of the company, Maryville, to do a sample of my water well. We're drinking the water, I mean, it, you know, because we have that reverse osmosis, it doesn't go through the kitchen where the slime is, it goes someplace else, but I don't even know if my well's safe, to tell you the truth. I went to the well, Economy Well, talked to them about the hole I had to, you know, by the well, and, they didn't seem to be concerned about it, but, one big thing too is my neighbor's drainage, his downspout, was coming into my yard, right into my water well. The black thing, it was about 2 feet deep and 12 feet from my property line, and we just found that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'll say we'll go out there and look at it, we try to have a better idea of what's going on at the next meeting, and we can
Yeah.
touch base again then.
okay, so thank you.
For your drinking water issues, I'd say give Edinburgh a call. They're in St. John there, it's right on 31.
I'm using OSB.
Oh,
I mean, they come out once a year.
okay.
And when we bought the house, we did get our water tested, and it was okay. So,
Okay.
that was almost 3 years ago. So I felt like it would be all right, but now it's getting weird. the situation's just getting weird, so. All right,
All
so
right.
what do I do?
Just come back.
Just come back
Next meeting.
next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I let Justin was online, he had his hand raised. I was gonna let him talk. Justin, if you,
oh,
there you go, I think you're up, Justin.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. As far as going in and signing the easements, do we have a tentative date on when you guys plan on reaching out to me? Because the only reason I ask is I'll probably have to talk with my neighbor and bring him in with me, as I don't know if you guys have a phone number to reach him. I don't know if he actually has a phone number listed with the town at all anymore, but I speak with him on a weekly basis when I see him.
Thank
And I can arrange something where I can bring him in with, if I have like, you know, a little bit of leeway when you guys are gonna get a hold of me.
To be determined with some of the map changes, I think, so, yeah, it's on a long list right now, I imagine, so,
And that's for which item?
the last parcel,
D.
number B under, Public Works.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it would be him and his western neighbor would be the two easements we need. So, Justin, yeah, well, I mean, we know where you live.
Right.
Staff will reach out, and thanks for coordinating with your neighbor too.
Yeah, no problem. And it won't be an issue of me bringing him with me when we go and take care of this then, correct?
No, not at all. More the merrier.
Okay, I will make sure he is notified now that it's coming down the road, okay?
All right, thanks, Justin.
Thanks so much.
All right, bye-bye. Any other public comment? If anybody else wants to speak online, please raise your hand, or if anybody in the audience wants to speak.
Carl Frank, 7326, West 143rd Avenue, Cedar Lake. All right. Just a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Ryan, I commend you first in reference to trying to get an idea of what you're paying for in reference to your claims. My question to the board, on these claims that you approved tonight, how many actually looked at them? Ben, did you look at the claims? Come on, be honest.
I looked at what was presented to me, probably what,
Pat, did you look at the claims that you approved tonight?
yes, I did. Not, I mean, invoices, direct invoices, one by one, no.
Pat and Ryan?
But they are on the ledger, so.
My point is, and I commend you, right? And I've been on a number of commissions and boards. To approve a claim without knowing what that claim is for, I think is inappropriate. That's my opinion. I agree you should have the opportunity, it should be in front of you to know what you're paying for. My other question would be, I've heard tonight that you have no money. My question would go to Jennifer, what is the budget? What is your balance in the stormwater drainage fund right now?
It's not that we don't have money, there is money.
All right.
So Julian Gibbons and Justin Latz were two of the projects approved last year with the budget they had for 23. I don't believe we have 24 budget set yet.
So, we still had cash, and then we
Yeah.
actually just made a transfer in the last couple of days after we looked at ending operating balances as of 12/31, and we took into account, because we use a 3-month fiscal policy balance for the operations fund, so we make sure we have a 3-month buffer there. So we just transferred another $181,123.83 to the capital fund. So as of right now, without moving forward on any of the 23 projects, the capital fund has $451,647.75.
That's consistent with what we had last year. So I think we had 280 for last year, plus the I guess inclusion now, so, yeah, it's all there.
Once go,
Yeah,
and we have a better idea of what the total of those 2 projects are, and then I think it was Woods of Cedar Creek was third on the list,
I believe so.
and I
that
know
was the
that
only
one
road in
was
24.
a bit more significant, so once you get
Yeah.
through that, then.
So it's not that we don't have money, it's we don't have money for everything. So that's, I guess, more appropriate.
My final question is this. There are rumors floating around, State Board of Accounts has sent a letter to the town in reference that money was taken from the stormwater drainage fund to pay for the dredging. Are you aware of that, and is that a true statement?
I have
That
nothing to
is
do with the State
not
Board of
a true
Accounts.
statement. The State Board of Accounts audit reports are available on the State Board of Accounts website.
All right,
And the only thing that State Board of Accounts noted to us regarding stormwater was making sure that the claims docket comes before the board.
was money taken from the stormwater drainage for the dredging project?
I believe a few years back, the town council approved some engineering that came out of stormwater. But as for the actual dredging that is currently going on, no, stormwater is not.
So no money from that.
Not for the actual dredging.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Good evening. I'm Randy Schmidt. I live at 13402 Schneider Street. I was here at the last meeting in November that they didn't have. I got an issue. I live on Schneider Street, just like 5 lots down from the new Taco Bell. So the one day I came home, my wife's like, the backyard's flooded. We haven't had a lot of rain. I couldn't understand. Talked to my neighbor. I guess they were testing the fire hydrant at Taco Bell that day, and they ran the water to come down behind our house. My concern is, after I seen that, my backyard's flooded. I think I sent the recording secretary some pictures at that time. And I talked to Don, and I talked to Mr. Carnahan. And since we didn't have a meeting, nothing really got put down. But I sent the pictures. My concern is, after they tested the hydrant, my backyard's flooded. So then I really started to look. And my concern is that, to me, it looks like the overflow from that retention pond at Taco Bell is, if we get the 1,000-year rain, 100-year rain that they talk about, I'm afraid my yard and my neighbor yard that was with me that night, I'm afraid we'd have flooded yards. After looking, we have no storm sewers behind that to take any of that water, and all that water just comes right to, like, my backyard. I have some evergreens on my yard. I had water up about 8 inches. So if we get the 100-year rain, I know it's like 5 point so many inches in a certain time. If they're overflowing there, I'm going to be taking that much water. So I really don't, the only thing that saved me from water probably going into up to my house that time was I have a waterfall, a small pond in my backyard. So I got a waterfall in the corner, and that berm stopped it. But on those pictures, you could see all the water that was sitting. There's a storm sanitary sewers back there. The manhole cover that's on the back of my property in the easement was popped up. So I don't know, it's never been popped up before. All of a sudden it was popped up. I know Mr. Carnahan talked to the street department, I think. Mr. Kubiak was a name mentioned. And I talked to Tim King, because I know Tim King from when he was involved in football with my son. And there was talk about certain things, but I don't know what was ever come about. And then when I tried to reach out to Mr. Carnahan in December, I heard he had a medical condition, and I never heard back. So I have pictures sent, and I talked to you that evening.
Yeah.
I don't know what's come about. I don't want to find out too late when I'm flooded.
So I can touch all on that. So the water stuff, I can't speak to that. They probably shouldn't, if they did discharge that way, they probably should discharge it out to where their storm sewer outlet is, which is US 41 system. That's where the entire property drains to. That's where the detention basin drains to. So yeah.
If you look at the overflow.
So the overflow is a different story. So overflow essentially follows existing grades. A lot of that property did drain to the southeast. So, but it's only in emergency conditions. So the likelihood of that overflow ever discharging is extremely rare, and if it does and it's not a clogging event, there's going to be a lot of other stuff underwater in this town.
Okay.
So that's nothing we can control.
Yeah. I
So
don't-
they've done everything right. It should actually help you in most events, because a lot of that did go to you now, or before. According to the Connors, it sure did.
Well, they had
a little small detention there for the parking lot, so, yeah.
When, Center Garage had their parking lot,
Yeah.
they had a, big berm.
Yeah, and they had a little detention basin there. Well, the one they have now is bigger than that. So it should be better. It will not be worse. What?
The last couple of weeks here that we've had a couple days of rain, my water's getting worse.
Well, I mean, they have
I'm just
inlets.
afraid when we get that 100-year rain.
I know, but they have inlets and detention basins. I will guarantee you that there's not a lot of water coming off that property right now.
Okay.
So we were looking at the as-built right now, it's pretty good. So they didn't do anything that was wrong.
Okay, because I mean, there's no, when it was that subdivision, all the storm sewers are in the front yard, so,
Well, that's a different story.
yeah, it's,
But Taco Bell's not causing
no,
that.
I just, after they pumped that water, they did the hydrant.
That again, I can't, that's not really this board's, I mean, that's flushing. I don't know if the contractor did it,
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm
we
betting
did it, I
they did.
just came up and I had this huge amount of water in my backyard.
And it should have receded. That should have been a one-time thing, correct?
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
but it stayed there for like a week.
Okay, again, I can't speak to that. I don't know what the contractor did.
I was just wondering, I'm just following up, if there was
Yeah.
no meeting, I didn't want it just to be
Yeah, I sent emails.
and then come back 3 years later and say, hey, I brought it up back in '23, you know.
No, you should be fine in regards to Taco Bell. There
Okay.
should be nothing, no
Well, that-
adverse impacts to your
When
investment.
I talked to Tim King,
Yeah,
he said something about dropping in a storm basin and trying to tie it to the storm sewer system that's in our front yard, so I didn't know. I mean, I have not heard, I tried to reach out, I haven't heard anything from anybody.
well, Tim hasn't talked to me about it. I know that system is weird.
Yeah, I know
Old and,
Bob Carnahan said he spoke to him, but since then, I couldn't get a hold of him, so I talked to Nick, and Nick said he had some medical procedure and he wasn't.
to get eye surgery, so, yeah, regarding that system is old. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we traced it down, there's a gentleman that lives at the end of my block, his last name's Shroka, Steve, and he grew up while that was all being put in. We got a retention pond,
Way south.
yeah, way south, but
Right here.
everything's overgrown, but we walked it one night, and I mean, we couldn't walk the retention pond because that's on private property,
Yep.
and, but the part that's supposed to flow down 41, when it comes to the road that, I don't know the exact number, it goes to the softball fields, or Little League fields,
135th.
yeah, 135th, that is all, like, full of trees.
I mean, you guys put it on your list to start cleaning that out?
I mean, it might be a state project, because it's along 41, but
Yeah,
they
I
have,
don't, that's a gray area with that one, I don't know.
And it's
Like,
like
I think
really
actually
wide.
4 foot
Oh, I
wide.
know what you're talking about.
Like, I don't know if we're allowed to touch that or not.
And that's quirky with
Yeah,
what they take
I mean,
ownership of.
you,
I forget, they take one of enclosed and they don't take one of open ditches. I think they do open ditches, but they don't take enclosed, which is weird to me.
yeah, I don't,
because it
Yeah.
has never been cleaned out. I've lived here 28,
I
29
mean,
years.
we would have to look into that.
I think it just might be a cross culvert through there, so you can just jet it really quick, but I don't know, it's probably an old CMP, so tread carefully.
I mean, further down, if you go down 135th
Yeah.
to the east, there is a storm, this is according to
Yeah.
Steve Shroka, and, but, you know, he's an
Yeah,
architect and all that. And he said, he goes, I grew up there, I lived next door to his father. And so we walked it one night, and there's a part that there's some manhole covers, and he said, that's the part that drains through to that retention area. But I was gonna fly my drone over it
yeah,
and take a look to see how bad it is, because he says, I think you'd be shocked at how it's just
yeah.
full.
If it's private property, we'd have to
Yeah,
contact
That's
the
the
property owner.
problem. You can see it, it's on two different parcels.
Yeah.
We don't allow that now, but this was platted probably Cook Subdivision 50.
I mean, we could go take a quick look at it.
60s even, maybe, but,
It was 1960s is what Steve said.
okay.
But, I mean, I don't wanna have a water problem. we can prevent it. I mean, we have no storm sewers back there.
Yeah, that neighborhood's weird, 'cause like half of it's got curbs, half of it don't.
Yeah.
That's a monster project.
And I went through a whole nightmare when people were speeding. No,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to do anything.
I know.
I said, my whole neighborhood, we don't have sidewalks, and the poor kids have to, you know, ride on the
There's no
street and walk,
sidewalks,
and
then there are some
kind of hit,
sidewalks, yeah, it's weird.
and I think I hit a brick wall.
Yeah, we can.
I finally got a hold of a Commander Kid. Good guy, listen, so, but,
We can look into it with our old storm sewer atlases and see what's going on, but the problem you're talking about, I think we're all aware of it. It's just it's
Now I
not
have
a
a
small fix.
now I have a question.
Okay,
I have a landscaping business, I do a lot of drainage work.
okay.
Is it okay if I run drain tile, I got a dry well that my sump pump line runs to the north of my house. From there, I run it out to the storm sewer.
Okay.
I didn't tie it in because I know there's a gray area. One tile let me tie right in. They don't, in Beecher, I do a lot of work in Beecher. I can tie in, I just talked to,
We allow some tie-ins.
because what I did is I took my storms from my there, I let my water build up in my drywall, then I let it overflow. And then I popped it up like
Yeah.
right next to it, it's above ground, so my hope is that when it flows, it'll flow in, because I got good pitch on my property.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor's is a little bit questionable. Is there any way that we can tie in to those areas, tie that water into dry wells, and then run it out to that storm sewer?
If it's a sump pump, you can tie it in. The Public Works will core a connection for you, and you can tie it in. Downspouts, no,
Okay.
but sump pumps, yes.
Mhm.
So what we prefer
So
to.
you can't tie that, the drain, the downspouts into storm sewer?
No, we don't do that just because it
Okay.
just creates a hassle. There's a lot of, it just ruins the capacity. But nuisance drainage, like sump pump drainage, yes, we allow that.
And would I be able to tie in, if I work at the town work, will I be able to tie into the worst wet spots? And then run it to my dry well, I'll put another dry well in, it's not a big deal to me. And then tie that in there so I can get some of this water that sits in my backyard.
Is there necessarily a problem with that?
No, I mean.
It would be private, you'd have to maintain it.
Yeah.
That's
But
not,
they would do a core for you.
Yeah, we'd drill a core. I mean, if the basin's big enough to put multiple.
the only thing is I'll have to shoot grade, because
Yeah,
I don't know if I think how my yard runs, I don't know if that basin is so high. I mean, that's what Tim King said.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know if I can say that it is, because he said to him, it looks like the basin's higher,
yeah.
but I have a GPS system that I
Okay.
can run, and I can shoot measurements. And
Yeah,
have
if
a
you
pretty
shoot
accurate-
measurements, I mean, all we'll do is we'll core the holes
Mhm.
in the basin, and then we'll run the pipe that you were planning on connecting to. We'll run it into the basin going out, and then all you'll have to do is just connect it right to the pipe.
My basin, I gotta clean it out. I'll have to take the cover off.
I mean, we can do that, we can do that too, we got,
And then I can see what it is, I stuck
Yeah.
it level down, and I only got 2 feet from the top.
as long as we have
of the
enough
manhole.
to be able to get the drill in there to drill a hole, and then enough so you can put a pitch of the pipe to go in there to drain. That's all you really need, I mean, you don't really need that much.
Do you need me to dig it out so you can put the drill in?
You can if you want, if not.
I got a little
we
mini
would.
excavator.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, yeah, then if it's easier for us to go in, we could just core it and then,
Okay, now do you work for the public works?
yes, I do,
Okay,
so,
yeah, I'll have to make contact, I'm usually off on Fridays,
yeah, that's fine.
so I'll make contact.
Yeah, come in and talk to Wendy and let us know, and then
Okay.
we'll go, when you're ready, we could
Yeah,
go
we're
over
gonna
there.
have to wait now,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, we'll go
I'll get
over
the
there.
measurements, I should
Okay.
have time this
Yeah,
weekend, I'll get all the measurements, I'll shoot grade, and then give you an idea of.
Yeah, 'cause all you gotta do is run the pipe to it, and then we'll mortar it, take care of everything inside the basin.
Well, you can run the pipe, I'll tie into your pipe.
Okay, yeah, you can tie it
And
right into
what I do is I use all, green tile.
Okay, that's usually
Because
what
I
we
don't-
use too, so,
I mean, I used to use corrugated, and I got
No,
this
we're not-
too
we
many
don't
times
do
with
that.
not being able to
No.
clean it, so, okay,
I think you'd get away with, what, 4-inch?
Yeah.
4-inch pipe.
that's
so,
the maximum.
Yeah, so, that's all you really need for a cell phone, right?
Yeah, should be for some folks.
Yeah.
Okay, even with the drainage part
You
back
should,
there?
yeah, 4-inch should be
Should be okay.
big enough, yeah.
Okay, can
I mean, the overall system's not very big, so you don't
No.
wanna punch too big of a hole, it's just
Yeah.
not gonna work anyway, so.
No, it's all probably gonna back up.
Yeah,
I'll probably end up getting bit in the ass, that's what I'm.
No, it'll help, but, and there's a finite capacity in that system, so.
I mean, it's just, I don't know what else to do. I know you guys don't have the money to spend millions of dollars to tie in a storm sewer behind
No,
that
yeah,
property.
we would have to,
It's a big project.
that would go on the list.
I can bring you a big excavator.
That's a drop in the bucket.
Huh?
That's only a drop in the bucket.
I'll dig the hole for you.
If we could have all residents like you, that'd be great, and now we'd have
Well, I have
to
a
come in
system
and
on
tie it
that
in.
little excavator that I mean, set up, I trained to dig out.
Yeah, just big enough section that we can get a drill, we got the core drill, we'll just be able to drill out.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you
Okay.
before I do anything.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let us have a plan, and
Yeah.
then I can let you look at my neighbors, and we'll get those measurements together. And, 'cause I don't wanna run the water to the guy behind me.
No, no.
I mean, he's dying of cancer, he
I
said,
know.
so I don't wanna
Okay.
add to his water.
No.
So,
Okay, perfect.
thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. All right, any other public comments? All right, well, everyone, thank you very much. We look forward to you at the next Stormwater Board meeting in February.